Hey guys, we've got some breaking news because J.D. Power just came out with their initial quality study. That's a study over 90 days of ownership of a new car, and for the first time ever, Tesla got ranked. And Tommy, where do you think Tesla was ranked?
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to make you wait for this one, but we should explain what the J.D. Power IQS, as it's known, is, right?
So what is it?
Well, I've got the little blurb on their website. Yeah. So the J.D. Power U.S. initial quality study serves as the industry benchmark for new vehicle quality measured at 90 days of ownership. Initial quality has proven to be an excellent predictor of long-term reliability. So basically, they've surveyed 87,000 people who purchase new cars. And at the 90-day mark, they ask, how has your car been? And they break it down into 9 categories. Are you ready to hear the categories?
Yes.
It examines 233 problems, which are broken down into 9 categories: climate, driving assistance, driving experience, exterior, features, controls, and displays, infotainment, interior, powertrain, and seats. And there's a couple other categories: problems caused by technology, problems caused by interaction of the vehicle and the environment, and problems caused by advanced driver assistance systems. So, about 87,000 people were talked to, right?
Yeah.
And they compiled a huge pile of data, and then they rank not necessarily the model, but the brand. So they go through brands. So think Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Dodge, Chrysler.
Well, let's get to it. I'm sure these people are already wondering why we're doing this. And the reason is because for the first time they actually included Tesla after 35 years.
With a blurb.
Yeah.
They surveyed them across 50 states minus 15. So I think 35 states in total. And
Tesla came out, where do you think, Tommy?
Well, it's an electric vehicle, it's a luxury vehicle, so not a lot of problems with gasoline combustion engines. I'm going to say right in the middle of the pack.
Nope, you are absolutely wrong. Right in the middle of the pack was Infiniti and Cadillac. Tesla came in dead last.
Okay, so we should explain how they're ranked. It's problems per 100 vehicles, right? So what was number one?
Number one brand?
Yeah.
The number one brand, I've got it right here, was Dodge with 136 problems per 100 vehicles. So basically 1 problem per vehicle, give or take.
I'm not sure I agree with your math, but 136 per 100 vehicles.
Yes.
All right. What about...
Let's use the top 10 before we give you the top bottom 10. And then we'll kind of show you what we've had with ours, because there are some issues with this vehicle, and I think the things we're going to be showing on our Tesla certainly lead to this result. So the top 10, and I'm going to go 1 to 10. Okay, number 1 was Dodge.
Yep.
Number 2 with 136 as well was Kia. Number 3 was a surprise for me, Chevy, 141. Ram was next with 141. Genesis 142, so Ram was the very first truck brand, or the best. Mitsubishi was up there with only 148. Buick 150, GMC 151, Volkswagen 152, Hyundai 153, and rounding up, Jeep 155. Now that's the top 10. At the end of this video, I'll give you the bottom 10. But let's talk about the experience we've had with our vehicle.
You didn't let us know what Tesla did.
I'll get that.
No, just tell us.
250.
Yeah, that's a lot of problems per 100 vehicles.
Yeah. They were. What do you think was the second brand toward the bottom?
Probably Land Rover.
Exactly. That's right, Land Rover. So let's show them some of the issues, and this is stuff that you know about with Tesla, right? Tesla is about what, 10 years old, Tommy, give or take, right? In terms of building cars, and they're kind of still learning, because panel gaps are certainly one of the issues that Teslas have been unfortunately known for. So here's our front trunk, and here is the gap between the front trunk and the little corner here, and as you can tell, I can stick my finger in, but if I come over on this side, same finger, can't do it. I mean, that is probably what, a good 5 millimeter difference between the gap on this side and the gap on that side. And that little demonstration is everywhere. Let me show you what I mean. It's everywhere.
Who cares?
In this car. It's
not important.
It's everywhere. Look.
Oh my goodness.
Look, this is being very anal. This absolutely does not line up, right? You can see that this one is lower than that one. Over here, this is completely unlined up. Once again, higher and lower. That
unless you're sticking your fingers in your panel gaps often, this really isn't going to affect your life, in my opinion.
Over here, this little rubber thing, after this car has 8,000 miles on it, is already coming unglued, right there. Now, this is pretty horrendous. Look at the panel gap here. I don't know if you can see that, but my finger cannot go across there.
As a big Land Rover person,
yeah,
as long as something doesn't fall off, it's fine. Yeah. So quite honestly, the panel gaps do not bug me very much.
And then, you know, when you open the come on, open up. Oops, there it goes. It kind of opens, but it kind of does it in a very kind of shaky manner, right?
Does it go up?
It does go up.
Then it's fine. Who cares?
Right?
It doesn't matter. It went up. It's fine.
It does go up, but it does it in kind of a sketchy manner. Let's put it back down and show you what I mean.
Look at that smoothness.
Yeah, that was much better.
There aren't gears flying out of it. There aren't springs flying out of it. It's just acceptable.
Yeah, but for a vehicle that costs, get this, Tommy, $87,000, right? There should not be a panel gap this big between the headlight, between the taillight and the taillight in the back of the hatchback.
All right, now let's go on to the inside.
Okay.
So we've got the 9 categories, kind of talked about exterior.
Yep.
Powertrain.
Yeah.
Fully electric, of course. Brilliantly quick.
4.4 seconds according to Tesla, 0 to 60 for a big crossover.
Range is very impressive. I think it's rated at 310?
320.
320.
Yeah.
We have had, sorry, the fan is turning on like crazy. We have had some issues with the front CVs, which is a very common Tesla Model X issue. Basically, with the air suspension in normal height, the CV angle is too steep, and it will start to shimmy and start to shake. So I think we're going to need front CVs. That's very disappointing.
Yep.
So that would be a big mark for me.
Right.
But I got to wonder, you know, a lot of these initial quality studies are based on user experience. Do you think part of the reason Tesla did so badly is because every user experience is so different that the consumer might not understand how it works and might get frustrated with it?
Yeah, completely. I mean, this Falcon wing door certainly bonked your grandma on the head a few times already.
Right.
And so basically what happened was she's not used to a door, you know, opening this way. Why don't you open it up to show them? Yeah, opening this way as opposed to this way. And so, you know, if you stand under here, it can bonk you on the head. And that has happened. And what you're saying is people just aren't used to the way that this vehicle works. It's completely different.
Yeah, because...
and so the survey suggests that people are more apt to be confused by it than necessarily any problem that the vehicle has.
I mean, take for example the best-selling Tesla, right? The Model 3.
Yep.
It has no buttons in it. So if you've been used to turning on your climate control with a switch for the last 40 years, and then all of a sudden you've got this fully digitized cockpit, maybe that's a little confusing, and maybe that's something you're going to mark down the vehicle for on the J.D. Power survey.
Yeah, I agree. But nevertheless, you know, I don't think Tesla's going to care about this, right? Because Tesla plays to the tune of its own drummer. So as a company, I don't really think they're going to be too upset. I mean, but look at this time.
No, it's not great.
Look how much that's sticking up, right?
Well, it doesn't leak.
It doesn't leak, but there's a good 2-3 millimeter gap between this glass panel and this panel right there.
I know it's not brilliant, but
and having said that, we did have one issue where it was so bad that we actually had to call Tesla. Why don't you show them that and tell them what they did?
Yeah, the door trim fell off. It went bloop. It was this one, right?
Yeah,
I think it was this one.
Off, yeah.
It went right on the ground.
Which may not seem like a big deal, but it also keeps the water out. And then the way that it works with Tesla is you call them and they actually have a mobile service that comes out and fixes it. So they actually came to our offices and fixed it, so we didn't have to take it anywhere, drop it off anywhere, get a rent-a-car, any of that, which is good.
All right, should we go down the list?
Yeah, the worst ones you want to do now.
No. The on our car.
Okay.
So the 9 categories. Climate is fine.
Yeah.
Driver assistance, I think, is incredible.
Yeah.
The best in the business.
Yeah, definitely. Well, except for Super Cruise. I think GM Super Cruise is really good.
Yeah, but that only works on certain predetermined highways.
Yeah, but having said that, you know, autopilot and full self-driving sound like the car will drive itself. It will not drive itself.
That's very true.
So it's level 2 autonomy out of 5 levels.
Features, controls, and displays. I know on some of like the really early Model S's they had the failures with the infotainment screens, but that would have been way more than 90 days ago.
Yeah.
Interior is nice, really nice. Seats are good. Seats are very durable, very comfortable. Problems caused by brought-in technology services. No problems there, I would say.
You know, we do have one problem, and that is whenever the car gets updated, you know, because Tesla does over-the-air updates.
Well, it does it like 3 times.
It always does it like multiple times. Don't ask me why. It's like when you have a phone or a computer, it always updates. So I'm always excited, to get an update notification, and then I go back and it's the same update that the car's done before. So I don't know why it keeps updating itself, but it does it multiple times for the same update.
And then one more comment about problems related to like the self-driving assistance technologies. Autopilot, there is one stretch of 36, our local highway here, there's an overpass, and if the sun is shining just right on that overpass, the car thinks you're going to drive 70 miles an hour straight into a wall and goes full emergency braking for no reason in the middle of the highway. That would be a pretty big complaint.
Yeah, like I said, it's not ready for prime time, but I promised to give you guys the entire list of the vehicles at the bottom of the list. So I'll start at Tesla, which was 250. Land Rover was 228, Audi was 225, that's surprising. Volvo came in at 210, Mercedes-Benz 202, Jaguar 190, Chrysler 189, Subaru, who would have thunk, was at 187, and Porsche was way down there. They're usually pretty high up, 186. Now, I have heard that a lot of the reasons that there are so many luxury brands at the bottom here is because it has a lot of technology. So the more tech, the more people tend to be...
Yeah, and Tesla's kind of like the ultimate example of that. The other question you have to wonder too is like, for example, that taillight panel gap.
Yeah.
Not great. Definitely, I think for most people, not acceptable at $87,000. But is that representative of how the car is going to perform at 100,000 miles or 200,000 miles? So for example, you could argue that if Tesla can't put the taillight in correctly, they might not be able to put a motor into a differential correctly. So is that representative? Will that translate? Will that taillight that's representative of a quality issue also be representative in a battery management system or something?
You know, I don't know. I think Tesla is certainly way ahead in battery compared to the other brands. The other thing about electric cars is there's just not a lot to go wrong with them, right? There's no fluids to fill, there's no oil to squirt out of it, so it just ends up being relatively carefree in a lot of basic ways. Now, the one thing I got to tell you is J.D. Power, you know, does sell, I think, the results of these surveys. So you may be out there thinking, is this fair? I do think that they do sell them at the end, and then manufacturers use them to advertise, so keep that in mind. And then the last thing is, you know, we're kind of done with this car, right? We bought it, and we were going to tow with it, and we were going to take it off-road. We did both of those. And so now, on June 8th, I actually went on their website and configured a Model Y so that we could review that, and traded this in on a Model Y. And since then, on June 8th, I got one text from Tesla saying, hey, do you want to get your Model Y by the end of the month? I said yes, right?
Yep.
And I have not heard a word from them in 3 weeks. So, you know, we've basically put down $100, we've reserved a car, and I have no clue like where the car is in the process of being made, being delivered, none of that. And that's very disconcerting to actually order a car and then not hear a word from the manufacturer, especially a very expensive car, for 3 weeks. As to the status of that car. You'd think you get a call from like somebody at Tesla saying, hey, your car is being, you know, made right now, or it's in line, or it will be delivered. Nothing. Just absolute radio silence.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And another thing that's worth noting about the J.D. Power list is if you look at Dodge, for example, which is #1, Dodge really makes two models, the Challenger and the Charger. And both of those have been around for like 13 years. So you'd expect that those vehicles have all the kinks completely worked out. What am I missing? Journey? Do they still make the Journey? That's like 1,000 years old. Grand Cherokee is going away.
Yeah, a lot of them are going away.
So that is also another thing to keep in mind. But it is definitely interesting to see with these brands, what are owners reporting problems per 100 vehicles?
And guys, let us know in the comments below if you've had a Tesla, if you agree that it should be at the bottom of the list, or if you even care about that. A lot of the Tesla guys and gals are super fans, and they just don't care because the vehicle is so unique and different, and such a complete and utter, you call it like a Mac, right? There are a lot of people who just...
Game changer.
Yeah, it's a game changer. All right, let's close this up and finish this video. Let me see if I can keep myself from getting bonked in the head here.
It won't get, look, I bet it won't even bonk me.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's try it. See,
it's smarter. It's learning.
All right, how about if I stand over the side where your grandma stands? All right, go for it. That would have hit me.
Duck out of the way.
Well, there you guys have it. Thanks for watching, and remember, check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, if you want to see the complete list, we have it at tflcar.com. See you guys next time. Ciao.